A lot of cops in a certain courtroom today.
Even in death, Jamie Frederick Ginn can attract the attention of the constabulary. The officers were in the WA coroner's court to hear the circumstances around how and why the former Rebels WA boss died while under police guard in October 2023.
How old was he when he died?
He was only 52, and he was a physical specimen, which is why the suddenness of his death on a concrete floor at the Perth watch house raised eyebrows. According to the first day at the coronial inquiry about what happened that afternoon, Ginn was taking a lot of cocaine, including, it's been suggested, inside the police lockup in his cell just 2 hours before he died.
Hang on, taking cocaine inside a police station?
Well, before we get to that, let's retrace the last 24 hours of Jamie's life. On October 9, 2023, he was staying at the Rendezvous Hotel in Scarborough and during the course of the evening consumed a lot of cocaine. The next day, he was escorted by police from Rendezvous to an industrial unit at 12 Supreme Loop in Nangara.
Because
Cops were executing a search warrant. Ginn was handcuffed, hands were in front of him, and he watched as the gang crime squad went through the unit. While at the unit, the coroner's court was told he told one of the cops he didn't feel too good. In the course of the conversation, Ginn explained that he hadn't felt well since he'd returned from Malta on a recent holiday.
not feeling well, how?
He'd been suffering from blood clots in his feet and was on blood-thinning medication. Anyway, they took the cuffs off him. Remember, even though Jamie put on a show for the cameras,
System. We're here to stay.
he was not your typical meathead bikie. He was a working man, brickie by trade, and he held a degree in sports science and psychology. So the cops were comfortable he wasn't going to lose his shit. In fact, an officer told the inquest that Ginn was calm and courteous throughout the entire arrest and search process. The cuffs went back on though when they found a shotgun wrapped in a blanket near the unit they were searching. He was put in the back of the police car and he fell asleep on the way to the Perth watch house, arriving at 5:02 p.m. He was interviewed by a nurse who told the court he was calm and compliant, he looked well, he presented well, had a muscular physique, he was tired and annoyed at being there, but I had no issues with him. He was taken to a private room for a strip search, and when no contraband was found, he was rated a general risk detainee. This is important because it meant he should have been subject to a physical check every 20 minutes for the first hour in his cell and once an hour thereafter. Once in his cell, he was given a meat pie and some water, which he consumed, and then he lay down on his mattress.
Then things happen fast.
At 6:53 p.m, Ginn was seen on the floor of his cell having a seizure. The officer that saw him convulsing immediately requested the duty nurse, but there wasn't one on duty because of an error by St John Ambulance, which was contracted to supply a nurse on the 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. shift. The cell door was opened at 6:54 p.m. Officers administered first aid. The court was told Ginn's mouth and eyes were open and his breathing was laboured during that process. 000 was called at 6:57 and 43 seconds. His breathing stopped at 7:07 p.m. and staff at the police station began resuscitation protocols. An ambulance arrived at 7:13 and paramedics continued CPR. At 8:05 they ceased CPR and he was declared dead.
So what did the post-mortem show?
Preliminary report found Jamie had cardiovascular issues but not anything that was a primary cause of death. 7 months after that was handed down, a toxicology report found he died with an extraordinary amount of cocaine in his system. The coroner's court was told the levels in his system suggested he had taken the equivalent of a teaspoon of coke very recently before he died.
But he was in police custody the whole time before he died.
A point that Jamie's son Tyler Emerton Ginn made when he addressed the court. Tyler is convinced his dad consumed coke inside his police cell and he wants to know how he got it. Jamie Ginn spent the last few months of his life in the grip of paranoia that someone was going to kill him. There's evidence now that he overdosed on cocaine that he should not have had in a police cell that should have been monitored but wasn't. The coroner's court was told the person monitoring CCTV saw no sign of convulsion, even though Ginn was fitting so violently his body had shifted off the mattress onto the floor. And the nurse that should have helped him wasn't there because of a rostering problem.
Some people think it's a conspiracy.
You know what they say about conspiracy theorists. Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they aren't after you. I'm Ben Harvey.